Hello YouTube. Today we have another Nintendo Switch broken. Let's look at it together and see if we can get it going. First thing we're going to do is take a look at it cosmetically, see what we got. It's in pretty rough shape really. The screen's got quite a bit of scratches on it. Let's look at the back. Yeah, the back is in pretty bad shape. Deep gouges in it. Just check the sides. The screws all appear to be in there so far. Haven't got to all of them yet, but we're going to take a look. Let's see. The screws on the top here. Yeah. This one doesn't look bent like the last one that I bought. Didn't have any luck repairing that one. Now let's take a look at the charging port. It does look like there is some port damage, so I'm not sure how bad it is yet. If I feel safe plugging in the power to see where we're at. Oh, we are missing a screw. That's not a good sign. Somebody has likely been in here. Alright, well let's get it under the microscope and look at the port. Alright, so under the microscope we can get a better view. Looks like the outer ground shield has been pulled apart by excessive force. The middle section seems fairly stable. You can see some of the pins look like they're coming away from the middle on this side. The opening is just totally distorted where it's been broken. I'm definitely going to have to put a new charge port in this, so that'll be one of the first things I do. Here's a better view that shows how the pins are kind of separating away from the middle. See them kind of poking out on the bottom of the middle section there. I'll take my tweezers in a minute and push on them and you can see them move. These pins kind of move around a little bit when I touch them with the tweezers, like right here. A lot of them are loose. Alright, let's get the power tools out. Open this up. I'm using the IFU lithium precision screwdriver with a Y2.0 tri-wing bit to get these 4 screws out of the back here. So let's take them out. Okay, now we're gonna need to switch to a Phillips bit. Let's try a PH000. Boy, that screw felt stripped out. It really wasn't even in there. Something ain't right there. Okay, there's that one. Let's get the side screws out. Alright, there should be a screw underneath the SD card or kickstand here. And it's missing. So yes, I'm fairly confident in that someone has been in this. Alright, here's the inside. Let's continue taking it apart. SD card slot, just remove that. Now we're going to get this ground plate shield plate out of here. I'm a little concerned, afraid of what I'm going to find around the USB port, with it looking like it's distorted pretty bad. I don't know if I have broken traces around there. We will find out. Let's see, what does this look like? Oh, what is this? We have some kind of floating metal piece in there. I don't even know what that is or where that goes. Alright, it don't look terrible on the inside. It seems like it might be okay. We may be able to do something with this. Before I take this too far apart, I want to go ahead and hook in a power cord and an ammeter and just see what I get. If it powers on, and what type of current readings we have here. Alright, let's plug it in and see what we get. I got 4.9 volts at 120 milliamps. It's just sitting at 120. Let me see if I can power it on. No power, no display. Alright, now is whenever I put the board under the microscope and looked it over a little bit. Changed the lighting here so that I could get a better view. It looks like the water damage indicator has been partially tripped at least. And here I can see where some of it looks like it went. It does look like there's some kind of a liquid stain and possible minor corrosion around the BQ chip here. Let's keep on moving around and check the rest of the board. Going up to the M92. Everything seems to be okay around there. Visually, at least. Yeah, so far it looks like the only damage I really see is around the BQ IC chip. Alright, let's get this motherboard out. We'll start disconnecting some connectors here. Right now I'm working on the backlight connector. Having a little bit of trouble getting the ribbon cable out after I unlocked the connector locks. I should have just grabbed them with a pair of tweezers and pulled them out. I'm always afraid of damaging them. Now I'm working on the Joy-Con connector. This is either a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, I'm not sure. And now I'm going to pop the other one off. Alright, this is the LCD display connector. Alright, now I decide to take the game card slot out. I still have to remove the screws. Alright, now I'm going to disconnect the touchscreen cable. Alright, now I'm going to pry up on the game slot connector that attaches to the main board. Alright, now the card slot should be free to come out. Alright, with the game card reader out of the way, we should be able to remove the LCD ribbon cable from the connector. You got to be very careful with the LCD ribbon cable. This is a really common failure point where you can bend pins in the connector or damage the ribbon. I found a few screws that I need to remove to get the motherboard out, so I will be working on removing the screws here. Alright, now I'm going to disconnect the other Joy-Con connector. Whoops. This was a rookie mistake. I should have popped the battery connector before I did anything else. Alright, now I'm going to come over here to the speaker connector. I haven't found a really good way of getting these out yet. Seems like the thing that works is put like a flat blade or a spudger in between there and kind of get a little bit of a gap in there, and then it'll eventually pop out. I'm sure there's better ways of doing this. I'm going to probably watch other people and see how they do it. Alright, now we're going back to the other speaker. Again, I'm trying it with a spudger. Had a little bit of trouble. I just ended up using my fingernail here at this point, I believe. Alright, now I'm unlocking the power connector. And then I'm going to unlock the fan connector. Take out the fan ribbon and the power ribbon cables. Still not very effective removing the ribbon cable from the connectors. I'm going to start to use tweezers to just grip the ribbon cable and pull it out. I've removed the motherboard here, so let's take a look at side A. Here you can see the damage to the USB port. Now we're checking the Pi USB IC chip and the audio. Up in this area you can see there's some type of foreign material here, like there may have been some type of liquid get in here. We'll have to revisit this area and clean it. Checking around the Max power management IC chip, some RAM IC. I do need to go back and clean around the BQ IC chip and also around the audio circuit. I've placed the motherboard in a circuit board holder, and right now let's go ahead and clean up around the BQ IC chip. Applying some isopropyl alcohol here and using a brush to clear away the debris, contaminants. Now I'm using an ultrasonic toothbrush to try to clear away this corrosion a little better. And let's hit it again with some isopropyl and just continue cleaning. Alright, let's clean up by the ENXX 3.3 volt regulator near the audio IC chip here. Applying some isopropyl alcohol, and we're going to try to rub the contaminants away with this cleaning brush. Looking a lot better here. Doing a little more inspection of the board here just to make sure that I got everything. I've noticed some light corrosive speckles just kind of scattered throughout the board. It's quite noticeable here around the USB port, so let's take a moment and clean that up. Again, applying isopropyl alcohol and just using a brush to clear away the debris. Looks much better. I'm going to hit it again with the ultrasonic toothbrush. This port is getting replaced, so I'm not too worried about the port. I just want to get the area around it all cleared and clean in preparation for the port change. At this point, I decided to go ahead and try to clean the little corrosive speckles from various parts of the board. Right now I'm focusing around the M92T36 IC chip. Looks much better there. Alright, now let's clean up this area around the eMMC IC chip. Add some isopropyl alcohol and we're just going to brush it away. Looking much better here. Moving along to the display, driver, IC chip, and the LCD connector area. Using isopropyl alcohol and a brush again, just trying to clear away the little speckles of contamination. Looks much better. Alright, cleaning up around the MAX 77621 power management IC circuit now. Isopropyl alcohol and a brush. Some of these components nearby also have the little corrosive speckling, so I went ahead and cleaned that area as well. Alright, let's get this bad USB port out. Right now I'm adding some low melt solder to the main large ground points around the USB connector. These take a lot of heat and make it difficult to remove, so with a low melt solder I can use less heat and get it out in a faster amount of time. I really don't like using this low melt solder because it doesn't really want to flow very well, and it just kind of globs up and makes a mess. It is effective. I mean, once I heat it with a air gun, it seems to work a lot better. But yeah, just using the iron with it doesn't really want to flow in there. Alright, let's heat it with the heat gun. I sped this section up 5 times to make it less redundant. Anyway, I'm moving back and forth quite a bit, not holding the heat too long in any one spot. I don't want to melt or burn the circuit board or the connector. In a minute you'll see the low melt solder start to liquefy here in just a minute. Right here. And there the port dropped out. Alright, now let's wick these port solder points clean. I used to have a lot of trouble using the solder wick on these boards. I've found that you really have to have a lot of temperature, and flux helps. Yeah, you don't really want to push down and scrub. You just kind of want to touch the iron to the wick first to heat the wick up, and then make contact to the circuit board, just kind of gliding over it. With the port removed, now let's do continuity checks. Alright, with the port removed, I did verify that the shorts still remained around the M92T36. So now we're going to go ahead and pull the chip and replace it. All right, we got the new M9236 IC chip installed. Now let's check to see if our shorts are gone that were around the chip. This side should be connected to ground. This side should not. That looks good. Only one side of the capacitors should be to ground. Alright, looks like the problem around the M92T36 is fixed, so now we can put the port back on and then we'll be ready to test. Amperage is really starting to come up. It was only 100 milliamps and now it's up to 0.4. So I think it'll jump into fast charge here before too long. Hopefully it'll kick up to about 1 amp here in a little bit. Looks like it's getting better. Still no picture on the monitor. Alright, it looks like I got it now. I noticed that this one looks like it's got a parental lock on there. That might be a problem. I'm not sure how to reset that, but I'll see what I can do.